Adobe Firefly now supports prompt-based video editing. They're adding more third-party models into their platform. There's a ton of cool stuff that's going on with Adobe, and this is as the competition is really heating up from a lot of other players. OpenAI just dropped their latest image model, which is going to go into their video model. We have Sora that's out right now, and of course, everything from Google and Nano Banana and their video editor or video generator is really heating up the market right now. So we're going to dive into all of that on the podcast today, where the state of the market is, how Adobe competes with that, with their products. And before we get into that, I wanted to mention, if you want to try all of the models that we're talking about on the show, make sure to go check out aibox.ai. This is my own startup, and you get access to over 40 of the top AI models, everything from Gemini to OpenAI to Anthropic to Grok to 11 Labs for audio, a ton of cool image generators in there. It's $20 a month, and you get access to everything, so you don't have to have subscriptions to all of the top platforms, and you don't have to wonder where all of your content and data is and juggle between a million tabs. So I'll leave a link in the description for that, aibox.ai. Let's get back to Adobe. So Adobe right now, they're updating their AI video generation app, which is Firefly. They're adding a new video editor. It's going to support prompt-based edits, right? So you have a video going, you can say, hey, change the color of this person's hair to purple. And all of a sudden in the video clip, the person's hair will change color. They're also adding a new third-party model for some image and video generation. So they're going to include Black Forest Labs Flex 2, and they're also adding Topaz Astra. And I'm going to be honest, Black Forest Labs is a great model. We have it over on AIbox, and it kind of became famous for being the model that Grok on X and Elon Musk choose to power the image generation model on X. It's a fantastic model when it came out. I think it's probably slipping behind some of the latest updates and announcements from Google and OpenAI, but I think they're scheduled for a new release on a newer model, so that should come out pretty soon. And in any case, the thing that's great about it is they have open source versions. Black Forest Labs, I believe, has some open source models and some other cool options there. So it is a great model overall. And I think you can also get an API directed from it. I think someone like Adobe is probably just grabbing the API, similar to what I'm doing with AIbox. We have Black Forest Labs. We have a bunch of Flex models inside. And so that will help generate. But it is a really good quality model. Up until now, Firefly only supported prompt-based generation. So you would have to recreate an entire clip if any part of the video that you had, if you didn't like it, basically. So now they have this new editor, and you can use a text prompt to edit different parts of the video. You can edit the colors, you can edit the camera angles. They also get a new timeline view that lets you adjust frames, sound, and other characteristics really easily. All of this came as Adobe did kind of a original announcement back in October. It was kind of this private beta. Now they're rolling it out to all of the users. And looking at it, it's pretty impressive. You can do a whole bunch of really cool edits inside of the platform. They said that using Runway's alpha model, users can now give Firefly specific instructions like change the sky to overcast and lower the contrast, or you can zoom in slightly on the main subject. The thing that's cool here is it's not just, when you say like zoom in, it's not just, cropping in on the video and zooming in. It's literally regenerating it with a zoom, so the quality is still at 100%. So I think this is fantastic. Runway does a great job. They also are making some great updates to their model. They've raised a ton of money, and so I think between Runway and Black Forest Labs for images, Adobe has chosen some great partners there. I will also say that Adobe has their own video model, their own Firefly video model, and so they'll also let you use that. I do appreciate that they allow you to use, multiple models from, something like Runway for video as well as theirs. I think people like having the ability to toggle between the two, especially if one of them is better than the other. If Runway makes a big update and leapfrogs Adobe, it feels like Adobe isn't, taking that too personally. They'll just give you the options. But with the new Firefly video model, you can also do some cool stuff. You can upload a start frame and reference video of a camera motion, and you can tell it to recreate that camera angle for a video that you're working on, and it's able to do that. To me, that's a really cool feature. They also said that you can use Topaz Labs Astra model to upscale videos to 1080p or 4K. So that's kind of cool because a lot of these video models, they can create a video, but it's sort of low quality. So then you're going and using this other model to upscale it to be, 1080p, 4K. Black Forest Labs Flex 2 image generation model is also going to be added to the app, like I mentioned, along with a collaborative boards feature, which is pretty cool. They said Flex 2 is going to be available on Firefly immediately, and then Adobe Express will be able to use Flex 2 starting in January. So these are, phenomenal models. We're getting them. The ability to go from like 1080p to 4K, it kind of makes it so like on an image or a video, you could go from seeing like the actual detail in a piece of cloth versus just like seeing the outline of what's going on. I mean, I think we all know what an upscaler does, but like it truly regenerates the image as an upscaled, higher quality image, which is interesting because it's a totally different piece of technology to upscale something versus to create it in the first place looking fantastic. So it's interesting that they have two different tools to help you with those two different steps of the process. I think there's definitely a lot of competitors releasing new models right now, images, video generation. Adobe wants to bring users in to use their apps more. They have a bunch of new updates to their Firefly app. They said that subscribers, if you have Firefly Pro or Premium, you get a ton of new credits. You get unlimited generations from all image models and the Adobe Firefly video model. Until January 15th, you get unlimited. So if anyone's interested, that is their offer. They also have a ton of changes inside of their Firefly model and apps that they made this year. In February, they launched a subscription that let you access a bunch of different levels of image and video generation. So they're trying to like figure out exactly how much to charge people. They have different subscriptions and subscription tiers for how much you're generating. And it's interesting because like on the one hand, you have a subscription to use their products, but on the other hand, you want to be able to see how many like things you can actually generate or how much of a power user you are. It then launched their new Firefly web app. They have some mobile apps that they came out with this year, and they're adding support for some third-party models inside of Firefly apps. So it seems like this is something they're taking seriously. They're putting out a lot of new features and tools. I would not bet against Adobe. I think they're going to do quite well. They already have all the distribution of all of their kind of core legacy SaaS products, and now that they're adding AI into them, I think it's going to just streamline the process. They're competing against people like Canva on in some areas, it feels like, but I think that they're going to do quite well with this. So it's definitely a company to keep watching out for. Thanks so much for tuning into the podcast today. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. And as always, make sure to go check out aibox.ai if you want to get access to all of the top AI models in one place for $20 a month. I'll leave a link in the description to that, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.